ladies and gentlemen, Crabpig Productions, Rother011, Mr. Welch on the other screen. We're here, we're going to talk about some D&D shit real brief like, because, you know, DM talk, it's that. So, real quick, if you want to introduce yourself, Mr. Welch, that'd be swell, and I'll skim over my stuff, and then we're going to get right down to the business.
Alright, I'm Miles Welch, and been gaming for 32 years, and being a DM for about 2/3 of that.
Damn, nice.
Yep.
And anything else, like work, school, careers?
Finishing out a degree in satellite imagery and analysis. I make maps for a living, and I have a history of dabbling in CAD and making designs of a whole crazy bunch of shit.
Sweet. Well, probably a bunch of our Instagram followers kind of familiar. I'm weird and shit, but anyway, though, Rother011, Thadeus Simpson. I handle the camera at Crabpig, and I've only been DMing for roughly 5 years. It's not nearly as long, but nonetheless, we make good memories and stories or whatever the hell. Going to school for business and illustration, all that sweet stuff. So yeah, let's just go on and crack down to some of these things. First off, just couple things to chit-chat about when it comes to, let's throw back and forth here when it comes to gaming length and what is more preferable when we're talking about the kind of style we're trying to work with here.
I prefer a longer length game, and by longer length I mean a year or two span of a long story arc.
Oh.
You could call it epic, I guess. Saga, epic, that kind of thing. I'm a huge fan of those things, like that have occurred in history and music and theater and that kind of thing.
Well, okay. Anyone elaborate on that? So like a movie almost, or a saga.
Yes, well, Homer's Iliad, the Odyssey.
I see.
You get a bunch of adventurers together, and they go out and they do great things, and they may do bad things as well, but they have an overarching purpose.
Yeah. Okay, in that regard, I'm kind of on the same level. See, when it comes to a preferred group or a preferred game at my tables, most other DMs I've seen kind of like to have the story be involved or rules or mechanics, but from what you're telling me, we're about character interaction between players and NPCs. Yeah. That's kind of what I aim for. Now,
I like the mechanics, don't get me wrong. I like role-playing and die rolling, and that's fun. Yeah. But I much prefer the character development and seeing where a character can go in their life story rather than where they can go stats-wise.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Only, now, with that, I just gotta say, how do you feel? I know I've probably asked this once before. The long story short, audience, we tried to do a recording, and things got technically wishy-washy. It was a bad time, but now we hopefully got this stuff fixed, and hopefully it's a more enjoyable listening experience. Yeah. Now, I know I asked this question once before that previous recording about something along the lines of not just an overall story, but we're talking at that table. How long do you want just that particular session to go? Talking at least at my tables, I like to have things go on no longer than 3 hours.
Oh, well, I got you.
Yeah.
I prefer I like 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours is good. Depending on the group, if it's a really good group and they're cohesive, 8, 9 hours is one thing, but that's like a once in a couple 6 months around that.
Yeah.
But that eats a lot of material. And it's a lot of work for a DM to do that. To have 9 hours of material, it's nuts.
Well, I can only imagine. Damn, who has that much material for a thing? Now, that was another thing, because I know I've also asked pacing before. My understanding when we last talked, you prefer to have your games at a steady pace, with like some kind of balance between content as well as action, mechanics, story. Yeah. You want to elaborate a little more on that, or
So for any given length, any given game session that we're playing, I like breaking it down to about maybe 40% action of dice rolling, combat, that kind of thing. another 40% of just interaction, and then 20% of downtime of what are you guys doing for the week between mission A and mission B kind of thing. Where the role-playing doesn't really have to involve dice, it can just involve just blank statements of we're doing X, and you can get rid of a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff with hand-waving. So be it.
Okay. Yeah. See, my tables... Actually, man, I kind of wish the other DMs were here, because a lot of them are kind of more on the side, at least from what I see, story. They want like their world setting.
Oh, no. Don't misunderstand, I do love story. But there are some times when you have a party that has to take care of downtime in the middle of a story. And instead of role-playing going to the shopkeeper, the tavern keeper, the blah, 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 so long as it's not a major plot point, hand-waving.
Yeah, just so be it. Hey, same deal. So, when it comes to me, personally, story and all, I could be like, yeah, man, so you guys walk into the forest of the misty purple haze and just elaborate on details, don't really give a damn, or save that energy for the things that matter. Because I actually had a player come to me about, hey, maybe we should have more interactions with the environment when we travel. When I'm trying to get them to the story itself. The travel there, I mean, fuck, even The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, movies that were about walking, they made that matter because it was the scenes and where they were going was integral to the story.
Exactly.
But that's a movie and a book. If that were you to incorporate that into D&D, you'd probably just describe it as you guys walk through these huge mountains covered in snow. And you see what I say? I don't like to spend a lot of time when it comes to verbal descriptions like that. That's why.
If I'm going to a verbal description of a place or a thing, or they're going for a walk, it's because it's part of the story where they need to know about it. If it's not important, like you're going from point A to point B on a known road, then it doesn't matter up until I have to roll an encounter.
Good. Just, man, I don't want to rant about the ODMs, but long story short, yeah. Their stories, that kind of thing seems to be pinnacle, almost pinnacle. Everything else is kind of it. By the time you get to those points at those games, you're already halfway tired. You kind of just want to get to the cool shit. Now, another thing. Earlier in our one discussions, we talked about how evil campaigns are run and how it should be handled, and you just want to elaborate again about how they ought to be short.
Yeah, evil and horror campaigns, i.e. vampires, werewolves, all that stuff, unless you are, and monsters that come out of the woodwork, eat people in villages, all those things, in my opinion, need to be short, because, especially with evil campaigns, less so with horror, but especially with evil campaigns, is you get bogged down in murder hobos. And it becomes, if you're a decent person and a good person, running an evil campaign is mentally fatiguing. Because at the same time, well, I don't want to have to kill my players because they're, off murdering farmsteads. On the flip side, though, there's cause and effect of law and order and that kind of thing. So now it's, instead of me telling them a story and them interacting with my story or interacting with the world that I've created, it's now me hunting the party. Or me creating situations where they can go hunt down other things. It's mentally exhausting.
I'm sorry you had to experience that. I've never experienced... I take that back. Only one time have I had a full-blown experience running an evil campaign. Not even a campaign, an evil session. A campaign, I can imagine... If we're like you want to mention, you want to run a standard game upwards of 2.5 years, I imagine you would probably run that for a couple of months, maybe.
Not even. That one lasted a month.
Ah!
Before I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this. Y'all want to run this? Someone else can run this. I'm not going to play this. I can't do this.
It just gets too visceral. This is going to segue to a couple of battle stories in a minute, but no, I like.
Now, I'm not against murder hoboing for a small, brief time of things of necessity, of things that get the story moving. That's fine. But if you come to a farmstead and you would normally, in a normal situation, you talk with the farmer, the landowner, whatever, and see if you can bunk in his barn, kind of thing. And that's what every party I've run into has ever done, forever. Mm-hmm. Except for this one group went and murdered everyone, put them all in the barn, and burned the barn to the ground.
Good. Wow.
Yeah, it's evil. I mean, it's downright evil stuff. And so you can either go with no consequences, which means they're going to murder hobo their way across the continent,
Yep.
Or B, there's consequences, which means I'm now against the players. It's combative D&D, and that's no fun for anyone.
Oh man, hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta disagree on that front just a little bit.
Sure.
Only because, in fact, I'll ask this question first. How do you feel about PvP? Like,
I hate PvP.
Damn. Okay. Go on.
I absolutely hate it. I avoid it whenever possible. I understand that it happens in parties. Occasionally have PvP where a situation will come up where it has to happen. But barring those situations of absolute necessity, I avoid it at all costs. As a player, as a DM, I'm kind of hands off on that.
Because it almost sounds like this was an experience with people who weren't familiar with each other. Right? Or is this friends you're talking about?
No, this was a standard gaming group that I gamed with for a long time. But we did have a couple new fish in that one who wanted an evil campaign. We're like, okay, sure, why not? They're only here for 2 months, and we can do this. And it turned out it was a month of gaming, and I was, that's no.
You just got too
So
visceral.
they finished out the evil campaign for a further month, so they got their 2 months of evil in, and I took a month off from gaming, and I had a great vacation, so, from gaming. And getting my head straight and...
Dude, that's bad. Oh my... No way.
Yeah, good times.
Okay, well, just my stance on PvP is that I think there's a big difference between if it's deliberately orchestrated and if it just happens as a consequence in the game.
Yeah.
Hang on, because my players, I've already kind of talked to them about this. But for Crabpig Productions, I want to have a live stream of a thing between players from my college here and players that I know off in Canesville, where I actually live. Because the players from Canesville, I've been playing with them for almost like a year and a half, and their characters have ascended to demigodhood or godhood, whichever the hell you want to put it. And the other ones, they're epic level, but they're not quite, deity level.
But I mean, my objection to PvP, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. It does, and that's fine, that's allowable. What I mean to say is what I'm against is the barbarian killing the paladin for giggles.
Yeah.
Because he wants to see what his axe looks like going through the guy's armor. That's where I draw the line. If you want to do that, that's fine. We'll make 4 or 5 die rolls. You guys both tear up your character sheets and build new characters, starting level 1. That's my penalty. It's a harsh penalty.
Wow.
But it's one that I go into the game stating at the very beginning. If you want to do this, these are the penalties. If you want to murder your party, you better have a damn good reason other than I want their shiny things.
Dude, you're a saint in my book, because I don't even allow that kind of player at my table. We gotta do this more often, Mr. Welch. In fact, I just got, real quick, just before we totally close on this discussion,
yeah,
we already covered things about game length. We already talked about things about PvP, we're in evil sessions, and then a couple of war stories. I guess I kind of want to ask if, do you have any games running? Do you have any live stream things going on?
No, I don't do any live streaming, anything like that. I'm currently a player in someone else's game, and I'm designing an online game right now for Cyberpunk 2020.
What's that? Never heard of it.
It was a game that was made in the late 80s, early 90s about the dark and distant future of 2020, which is hilarious. But it's set in the near future, essentially.
Wait a minute. Is this
like Shadowrun without magic?
Ah, okay, gotcha. That was going on in my head. But,
it's like Shadowrun, but without trolls, elves, dwarves, and no magic. It's cybernetics and straight, D20 modern, essentially.
I want to start a game of that one day. But no, I was just curious because, again, tonight, we're supposed to be having a live stream of Nautimous. You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
I
follow you guys on YouTube.
The seafaring game. It's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. And then that's tonight. Friday there should also be it's Panthesius, I think, should be live streamed. Otherwise it's just regularly recorded. But hopefully, why I got on the subject? Because I want to advertise to everyone watching and you, because it'd be kind of cool sometime soon you pop in one of the games either as a guest DM and I just give you a story, you run with it or whatever the hell. But I want to get an Asiatic setting called Yotarkir out on the site and out on the page and have everyone enjoy that.
Sure.
Another time we get in these discussions, I'm going to tell a couple war stories on that one, which is nothing but good, but so stupid. So, anyways, again, thank you for your time, Mr. Welch. We're going to go on and close this discussion and catch up on another time.
One question for you.
Oh, go on.
You guys are streaming. Are you guys on Twitch?
We're actually trying to... Yeah, we are. Just got to set that up and get it going.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks again. Crabpig Productions, Mr. Welch, Georgia, all...